Hello. Now, in this grammar, Unit 6, Lesson 1 and 2, I am talking about comparison with adjectives. In this video, you will learn what are the comparative degrees and how to compare things together. Let's see. The usage of comparative. Adjectives can be used to compare things. Things are compared to a comparative degree or a superlative degree. For example, which one is nicer, the t-shirt or the sweater? We have two things that we want to compare them. The t-shirt or the sweater. The t-shirt is nicer than the sweater. We can compare like this. The t-shirt is nicer than the sweater. Okay. Which one is the nicest? When we have three things or more than two things, we should compare like this. Which one is the nicest? The t-shirt or the sweater or the jacket? The jacket is the nicest. The jacket is the nicest. Okay, now let's know more about comparison. Let's see. Which one is more expensive? The t-shirt or the sweater? The t-shirt is more expensive than the sweater. Which one is the most expensive? The t-shirt or the sweater or the jacket? The jacket is the most expensive. Okay, now how to change an adjective into a comparative degree. Let's see. If the adjective has one syllable, we add er. For example, we have an adjective and it has one syllable. For example, nice. It is one syllable. If we change to a comparative degree, we should add er. Nice, nicer. Strong, stronger. Strong, stronger. We added er to the end of the adjective. Number 2. If the adjective has two syllables and ends in y, we change y to I and add er. For example, happy becomes happier. Lucky becomes luckier. Number 3. If the adjective has two syllables and does not end in y or has more than two syllables, we add more in front of the adjective. For example, worrying becomes more worrying. Worrying becomes more worrying. When the adjective has two syllables and doesn't end in y or more than two syllables. Like more, worrying, more worrying. Important, important becomes more important, more important. And there are exceptions, irregular comparatives. Irregular comparatives. You should know them. Now, to change an adjective into superlative degree, we talked about comparative degree. How to change an adjective into superlative degree. We said that one-syllabled adjectives, we add er to the end of the adjective. When they are two syllables but they ended in y, we change y to I and add er. But when they are two syllables but they do not ended in y or more than two syllables, we add more in front of the adjective. Like worrying, more worrying. Okay, now to change an adjective into superlative degree. Listen. If the adjective has one syllable again, we add est. Est. In comparative degree, we added er, but now we add est. For example, nice, nicest. In the comparative degree, we said nicer, but now here we say nicest. Strong, strongest. Strong, strongest. If the adjective has two syllables and ends in y, we change y to I again and add est. For example, happy, happiest. Happy, happiest. And lucky, luckiest. Lucky, luckiest. Now, the difference between superlative and comparative. In comparative degree, we added er, but here in superlative degrees, we add est. Okay? But if the adjective has two syllables and does not end in y, or has more than two syllables, we add most in front of the adjective. For example, worrying, the most worrying. Important, the most important. In comparative, we said more worrying or more important, but here we say most worrying or most important. And there are exceptions, irregular superlatives. You should know them. Look, we had adjectives, comparative plus then the superlative. For example, warm becomes warmer, but in the superlative degree becomes the warmest. Warm, warmer, the warmest. In comparative degree, we added er because it is one syllable. But in the superlative degree, we added est because we talk about superlative, est, and it is one syllable adjective. Large, larger, the largest. Again, one syllable, comparative er, superlative est. Thin, thinner, the thinnest. Thin, thinner, the thinnest. Heavy, ended in y, heavier, the heaviest. Heavier, the heaviest. Beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Expensive, more expensive, the most expensive. Look, we have beautiful and expensive. In comparative degree, we change it to more beautiful, and the most beautiful, the most beautiful. Why? Because the adjective beautiful is more than 2 syllables, more than 2 syllables. That's why in comparative degree we add more. In the superlative degree we add the most. Expensive, the same. Good, it is irregular. Better, good, better. The best, good, better, the best. It is irregular. Bad, bad. Worse, worse. The worst, the worst. You have to know these irregular adjectives. Okay. We have some forms for a comparative, which is noun plus be. What's be? Yes, very good. Is, am, are, was, and were. Is, am, are, was, and were. Plus adjective. What's the adjective? Warm, big, small, large, beautiful, expensive, good, bad, etc. In the comparative degree, plus than, plus than. After the adjective, we should have than, even it is before the noun too, second noun. In comparative degree, we compare two nouns. We compare two nouns. When we have two nouns, we have to use comparative degree. Noun 1, noun 2. We compare first noun to the second noun. Let's see. In comparative degree, we compare two things or two groups of things to each other. In comparative degree, we compare two things or two groups of things to each other. For example, okay, before the example, read this note. Be, is, am, are, was, were. Verbs such as become, get, sound, look, seem can be used instead of verb to be. Instead of verb to be, we can use become, get, sound, look, or seem. It depends on the sentence. Okay, it's not optional. Okay, let's come to the example. The guitarist. This is the noun 1, first noun. We compare the guitarist to her sister. What do we compare here? Yes, very good. The guitarist to her sister. The guitarist is noun 1. S is verb to be. Tall becomes taller. Why became taller? Because it is one syllable adjective and we use it comparative degree. Then we have then in the rule in below okay, we have forms in comparative and superlative degree. The comparative form, noun 1. What's noun 1? Noun 1 and noun 2. In comparative degree, we have two nouns. We have two nouns that we should compare them. In comparative degree, we compare two things or two groups of things to each other. Okay? In comparative degree, how do you know is it comparative or superlative degree? When you have two nouns, two things, two groups of things, then we use comparative degree. In this form, look, noun 1 or thing 1 or group 1 plus B. What's B? Tell me what is B. Yes, very good. B is was, where. Yes. And verbs such as become, get, sound, look, seem can be used instead of verb to be. Okay, but it's not optional. It is according to the sentence. After the verb to be, we have adjective. What's the adjective? Tell me two adjectives. Yes, very good. Happy, lucky, nice, strong, beautiful, expensive, big, large, small, etc. Yes. Plus, after the adjective in comparative degree, we have than. This is called than. We have to use it before the second noun, second thing, second group, plus noun 2. For example, the guitarist is the noun 1 plus B. What's B here? Very good. It is. Taller, taller. Why we use it taller? We have tall in the adjective. In the comparative degree becomes taller because we add er to the end of the adjective. It is one syllable adjective. Then we have her sister, noun 2. Okay, more example. The infant was hungrier than the mother. The infant, we compare infant to the mother. The infant was hungrier than the mother. The infant is noun 1. Was is verb to be. Hungry becomes hungrier. Hungry. It is one syllable adjective. Becomes hungrier than the mother. Then we have then noun 2. Okay. More examples. Farmers in our country. Farmers in our country. We compare farmers in our country to The lawyers. Farmers in our country are. Why we use it are? Because farmers, it is plural. More truthful than lawyers. Okay. Why we use it more, not er? Because it is more than two syllables. More than 2 syllables. More example. Last year, we talk about last year. Tomatoes became more expensive than onions. We compare tomatoes to onions. Tomatoes. We said that became can be used instead of verb to be. More expensive. Why more expensive? Because the adjective expensive is more than 1 syllable. Than onions. Onions is noun too. Now we have superlative. Noun plus be plus the adjective in superlative degree. In superlative degree, we compare one thing or one group of things to everything, the whole. We compare one thing to a group, to other things, to everything, to the whole. Okay? Look. We have noun. This noun that we compare plus be. Be is was, where. As I told you, become, get, sound, look, seem can be used instead of verb to be here again. We have the adjective in superlative degree. Look. Jan is the tallest of all her sisters. We compared Jan to all her sisters, not one sister, okay? Not to one sister. Jan is the tallest. Why the tallest? Because it is superlative degree of all her sisters. The infant was the hungriest in the family. We said before in comparative degree, the infant was hungrier than the mother. But now we say the infant was the hungriest in the family. We compare the infant to the family, to the whole family. Okay. Farmers in our country are the most truthful among all professions. Before now, we compared farmers to lawyers, but now we compare them to all professions, okay? That's why we use it the most. Okay. Last year, tomatoes became the most expensive vegetables. Before now, we said tomatoes become more expensive than vegetables. But last year, tomatoes became the most expensive in vegetables. Oh. Now, last year tomatoes became the most expensive vegetable. Before now, we said tomatoes become more expensive than onions. But now, we compare tomatoes to all vegetables. Okay, tomatoes became the most expensive vegetable. Now we have the summary. In comparative degree, we compare two things or two groups of things to each other. But in superlative degree, we compare one thing or one group of things to everything or to the whole. Okay? John's watch was cheaper than my watch. John's watch was the cheapest among his friends' watches. The film is more boring than the one I watched yesterday. This is the most boring film I have ever watched. Now, I hope you take benefit, and see you in the next coming videos. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.